And this is Supervisor report for our meeting of Tuesday, February 2nd. First up on the agenda, we did have a long item on the River Pines Public Utility District. No fault of the chair or board members actually didn't help. They were asking too many questions. But people need to realize when they do come in under public comment, it is limited to 5 minutes because we really can't take any action on those items. So just a recognition there that there are time limits. If you want something addressed more fully, it really needs to be put on the agenda for full discussion, and that's the only place decisions can be made. First up on our regular agenda, though, we had David French, our federal lobbyist, call in relative to 3 appropriations projects, as people more affectionately call them, earmarks. And we don't like them any more than anybody else, but the process is what the process is. You apply for them. It's up to our federal legislators, Congressman Lundgren, Senators Boxer and Feinstein, whether they want to consider these projects. 2 of these projects that we put forward were considered last year, that being the intersection improvements at Prospect Drive, Highway 88. This is actually a realignment of the highway on 104, taking Prospect Drive 700 feet to the east on intersection SR 104 opposite Bowers Drive. So it's just aligning those intersections so it makes more sense and it's better traffic circulation. The existing forest product drive will be made into a cul-de-sac area. That is the first project. Very complicated funding stream on that project. We're taking about $281,000 that's currently in our regional traffic mitigation fee schedule, $186,000 from 0809, and $400,000 that we're borrowing from City of Ione bypass project, or now it's been renamed, and also the Sutter Street extension, borrowing off those projects with the expectation of repayment, of course, on those projects. There is also federal economic stimulus money in the ARA 2 package of $1.3 million being applied for. There's also the federal appropriation request of $700,000. We need to match that with $700,000 that we expect to come out of the Proposition 1B and local partnership program. That money has already worked effectively from Amador County in Jackson on a project there. And also we have we have 1.4 million is the subtotal, and 3.567 is the total grand total amount for that item, and no one can figure out why it's costing so much because it's just a simple realignment. Just the environmental alone, though, to go in where you have to do CEQA and NEPA because you have federal dollars involved. And if you don't know what those are, CEQA is the California environmental process. NEPA is the national environmental federal process. Just those 2 alone raise your price on this project substantially. The other projects are a solar project for the Amador County Transit Center, $700,000 project there that we're applying for. It's actually 825 total, so we'll have to come up with another 125,000. Several of these items, like the monies coming for the transportation project and the money for the solar that we have to come up with, are actually looked favorably by the federal government because you're expected to come up with some kind of a match to show a larger buy-in. The last project that David French talked about was the improvements for ADA, American with Disabilities Act. These are running $900,000 plus, so very expensive projects that we're applying for. Frankly, without the federal dollars coming in, we would not be able to afford these projects, and that's all I'm going to say on that today. The county was awarded a $465,000 grant to place emitters on emergency vehicles. This would actually allow the emergency vehicles to come up to a signalization and have that signal turn so that they can go through it more safely. The signal would turn red and allow them to go through safely. Assembly Bill 1153 was discussed again yesterday. A lot of the issues that the board had the previous week with this were discussed. Some of the urgency on this has diminished because the bill actually failed to make it out of committee. The sponsor, Assemblyman Beal, has stated he will bring it back in several weeks with the modifications that have been requested. One of those is to include the administrative fees that counties would be charged on this. Board still has concerns that the counties would not be fully reimbursed. Also, the board seemed a little more receptive yesterday to the $3 per violation. That's per traffic violation, not per parking violation, because of the CEO of CalSTAR being on hand to say that without these dollars, they're only reimbursed for 42 cents on the dollar from Medi-Cal. So air ambulances will not be in rural counties unless we get some of the issues of reimbursement taken care of in the future. Maureen Funk was in on the Amateur Council on Tourism. The board did agree to take $1,000 apiece out of their discretionary funds. I think it was $1,000. It may have been $2,000. I'll clarify that. But the board did agree to help out on that. The cost of the booth will be about $10,000 with $2,000 that Maureen will have to come up with for parking. And the U.S. Census was on hand. They are paying $15 a person, hiring about 300 people, $15 per hour to go out and gather data for the census. Call 223-6470 at the board office if you're interested in applying for one of those positions or talking to myself or any one of my peers about issues. And the Supervisor Richard Forster, we're going to a break.